Happy Saturday. It's time for another garden video. I think doing them every 2 weeks is actually a good idea because, at least for my own self, I can kind of see progress. So this week I'm going to talk a little bit about what I do to deter deer. As you can see, I live in urban forest. I'm about a half mile from the James River, and there are a lot of deer that forage. There are creeks that run. There's one right back there. So they take advantage of yummy plants. And this is the first year I'm actually putting up a physical barrier. I did try one year. There was somebody who said if you put up posts and you put 2 fishing lines straight across, that the deer can't see them and they run into them and they get spooked, but I didn't find that to be terribly useful. Something that I have been using all along, there's the 2 dogs, Rocco's staying with me this weekend with us. I use this stuff, liquid fence, and it smells terrible, but it doesn't smell chemical. It's just got, you know, like putrefied eggs and garlic and capsicum and things like that in there. So for years I've been using that, and that works pretty well, but I really need to stay on top of it as far as reapplying it whenever it rains or if I water it off of plants. So this year, since I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks and I'm going to have a friend staying at the house, I don't want to have to tell them, if it rains, go out and spray more deer repellent and look and see if anything's been eaten. I suspect things will be eaten, but I wanted to at least give a little bit of a barrier for the main vegetable garden. And I do have one fruit tree in there. That's one of the apricots. So I bought these T-posts. I just got them on Amazon. They're not like the super sturdy ones, but they're good enough for my purposes. And they're the 6-foot ones. And then I got the 4-foot netting. There's 2 kinds here. This one I just picked up at Lowe's. This one I got online. I thought this one would be too noticeable, but actually from far away it's not any more noticeable than the one with the closer weave there. So this is I probably used about 100 feet of this stuff. I think I had to get extra. I had 75 and it didn't. Covered it about 2/3 of the way. So so that's what I'm trying this year. Now the deer could easily hop this, but my sense is, and I could be wrong, that they don't really want to jump into where they can't be sure of a decent landing. So I'm hoping that'll be the case. We shall see. I'm still using my deer repellent. It has worked. They kept eating the little leaves on the plum tree and the little cherry tree here. And I've noticed that the new growth is kind of staying. So, so they will have more of a chance to grow. And so the deer repellent works on those. And we'll go inside. I made a little, I had some fencing, so I made, wire I should say, so I made a little gate for right here. And it actually feels kind of good to be in here. I don't know, it just feels better than everything being open. And while we're here, I'll just show you how things are going. Radishes and beets and carrots. I have to reseed some of the beets. Horseradish. The collards are about ready to pick some of them. Collards and the kale over here. And as you can see, I let some arugula grow in there and go to seed, just because. And so I have one fig tree on the outside of the fence, one fig tree on the inside. But the fig trees have really never succumbed to the deer so much. So yeah, so that's cool. And I planted different seeds in here. I think I did beans, bush beans and okra in here. And in here, I did some more radishes, you can see. They're coming up. And I did squash in this one. And I did some of the honey nut, butternut squash over there. And I'll put a couple trellises around it. And all this other stuff I'm just kind of letting grow. I've got the larkspur, which will be really pretty when it blooms. And the big black bumblebees like that. I've got some daylilies in here. I got some tomato plants, and I planted the tomatoes. Got those last week. And I think I put some basil seed in here. Hasn't come up yet. And I got to pick my cilantro. It's already kind of going to seed, but I don't mind that. I'll just let it reseed itself. I put the cucumbers on this side this year, and I've got to pick some more of this lettuce. I've got some rhubarb there, and the blackberries. And the raspberries are all starting to bud, so that's pretty exciting. And they certainly have had the opportunity to put out more growth because they haven't been being nibbled by the deer either. And the yuzu is looking good. It's putting on more and more growth, which makes me happy. Let's see, what else is there to show you this week? It's kind of like partly cloudy today. It's supposed to warm up later. We had it really warm and then it got cooler. So I covered up the little eggplant that I got. The peppers are a little bit hardier. These are sweet reds, and I have a poblano and a jalapeno here. I'm trying not to plant too much this year because I always have too much. I have sunflowers, different places. Those I definitely need to spray with deer repellent. These I need to spray because those are daylilies, and the deer love those. And we've got my little apothecary rose starting to bud here. Oops, sorry about my finger. Irises are blooming. Let's go around the back. And we've got some chives blooming too. Such pretty blossoms. So everything you can see is just growing now that it's warmer. I've got to do some weeding and put down some more wood chips out there. I've got valerian starting to bud. New flags. Lots of aquilegia blooming now, which are so pretty. And I discovered over here that there was one that was a different color. Tea is putting out its leaves. I may pick some of these again and dry them like I did last year. But this is a really cool dark aquilegia. And I could see, actually from that window, I can see that the elder is setting up to bloom as well. All right, let's go out back. All this lunaria is getting to the end of its bloom cycle. We've got peony buds, and all these ostrich ferns have come back, which I'm so pleased because from the inside that looks really cool. Lilac is still doing well. All this motherwort. St. John's wort. The grapes. What? It's just me. Grapes there. Here's the muscadine, which I saw some little, like it did it last year too. They got these little teeny tiny buds on them, but they never did anything, and that's fine. It's young. And this, I think they call this peppermint. It's like a white and red, or red with white speckle rose that's very fragrant, and it too I need to keep the deer repellent on. It's got some little aphids on it, but I don't know if that's one of the good, it's actually a ladybug, or if it's one of those other beetles that isn't so good. I don't know. And then I was working out here today for a change. First I want to talk about my Rosa canina, sometimes known as dog rose. For years I was pruning it wrong. I was pruning it down like I prune other roses, you know, way down. And then and it wasn't blooming, very rarely would bloom. And then I read you can't prune it like that because it blooms on older growth. It needs that. So this year we've got a bunch of little rosebuds on it, which live and learn. Lots of nettles still. This is the mulberry. It's got a lot of mulberries on it. I hope that they wait till I'm back from my trip. Otherwise I'm going to have to tell John to pick them and put them in the freezer for me. But I planted I'm cleaning this out. I'm taking out these figs eventually. I got a black raspberry to go in here because I think this will be a good spot for it. So I'm excited about that as well. There's the Solomon seal looking lovely. And I'm gonna say that's it for now because I don't want this to go on too long. Just wanted to do my every other week video. Oh, and I'll leave you with this shot of this lovely foxglove blooming. Have a great Saturday.